Two-time major winner and professional golfer John Daly has a lot in common with NBA Hall of Famer Charles Barkley. Besides being professional athletes, the two men have confessed to having a gambling addiction. The colorful golfer and the iconic former basketball player, however, don't see it as a problem. And that's in spite of all the debt they've acquired. What exactly did the professional athletes have to say? Let's find out. Starting with, what did Daly have to say about his gambling addiction? The two-time major winner and self-proclaimed bad boy of the golfing world, John Daly, has never been one to shy away from a scandalous comment or two. The man has admitted to having a struggling relationship with alcohol, his father, and fellow golfers. He, however, doesn't see his gambling as much of a problem, and that's in spite of acquiring over $50 million in debt in the last decade. In the last chapter of his autobiography, the professional golfer revealed that he had a gambling addiction. Specifically, Daly admitted that he had lost between $50 to $60 million in the last 10 to 12 years. This included his entire earnings from the WGC American Express tournament that he lost at a $5,000 slot machine and Wynn Casino. Ironically enough, Daly knows his addiction might just ruin him one day, but according to the most colorful and scandalous man in the golfing world, he doesn't anticipate stopping anytime soon. Daly also revealed that the people around him believed he'd use golf to cope with his personal and professional struggles. Instead, he chose to gamble. Up next, Charles Barkley doesn't see his gambling as much of a problem. 11-time NBA All-Star Charles Barkley has one of the most recognizable faces in the world. The man played for 16 seasons in the NBA for 3 teams and is well regarded as one of the best rebounders in the association's history. But that's not all the former professional basketball player turned analyst is known for. Barkley gained notoriety for picking fights, both on the court and off it. He claimed that he never signed on to become anyone's role model, nor did he ever plan on being one. Speaking of which, Barkley has a gambling addiction, but it isn't his addiction that's solely concerning. It's his views on the matter and his lack of self-awareness. Barkley has claimed to have lost over $10 million gambling through the years, including a night where he lost $2.5 million in a 6-hour period. Fellow TNT broadcaster Ernie Johnson questioned him about his addiction, but Barkley claimed that it wasn't an addiction so much as it was a bad habit. According to the former player, he could afford to lose all of that money, which saved him from developing a real problem. Barkley's supposed non-issue eventually caught up to him in 2008 when Wynn Casino sued him for not making time on a $400,000 repayment to the casino. The broadcaster went public with his gambling habit and took the blame. He even claimed that he wouldn't gamble for another year or two. Those years are up, and it looks like Barkley's back where he started. What's more, do Daly and Barkley have a relationship? Besides their shared self-destructive interest, the two athletes also share a common love for music and golf. Daly and Barkley famously jammed to Can't You See at a restaurant, and most recently played alongside at the Pro-Am event. Barkley actually started golfing back when he still played in the NBA. He has participated in every single American Century Championship Pro-Am event since retiring from the court. According to the former player, it's his way of staying in the game, despite the fact that he finishes last on the leaderboard and is widely regarded as a poor golfer with a horrible swing. Props to Barkley though. He's been keeping up with training and has greatly improved since 2021. At the Champions for Change charity event, Barkley played alongside golfing legend Phil Mickelson and delivered a major upset by defeating Peyton Manning and Steph Curry. Moving on, Barkley doesn't want to be idolized. Charles Barkley is as likable as he is honest, and he honestly doesn't want anyone to idolize him. After getting into one fight too many and an incident where the man accidentally spat at a young girl instead of a heckler, Barkley had enough of the controversy surrounding his name and claimed that he wasn't a role model. He did this during a controversial Nike TV spot that got the world talking. Was he right? I am not a role model. I'm not paid to be a role model. I'm paid to wreak havoc on the basketball court. Parents should be role models. Just because I dunk a basketball doesn't mean I should raise your kids. This was back in 1993, but Barkley has since restated those claims in his memoir, I May Be Wrong, but I Doubt It. He clarified that he was the one who approached the shoe brand with the idea for the campaign, and not the other way around. The NBA All-Star stirred up a fair bit of controversy over his remarks, with co-founder David Stern forbidding Barkley from wearing NBA logos in the commercial. Speaking to Entrepreneur in 2022, Barkley claimed that basketball players often didn't have a choice. They had to go to every charity event, sponsor every relief campaign, and make cameo appearances to improve their likability when their primary focus should be playing basketball. Not to mention the time Daly lost millions in 5 hours. John Daly is known for two things: his impressive backswing and his many on-field and off-field struggles, one of which includes gambling. Gambling amongst professional athletes goes way back, and Daly isn't the first man in history to gamble his winnings in hopes of more. He most definitely won't be the last either. The man formally accepted or announced his addiction in the very last pages of his autobiography by claiming that he had lost an inflated amount of $60 million through gambling. Barkley would later negate his claims by stating that for Daly to lose $60 million, he would have had to make $200 million pre-tax, and we know he didn't. The real estimate is around $20 million, which is still a huge amount of money to gamble away. In 2005, Daly was the runner-up after an epic playoff against Tiger Woods. The professional golfer was to win over $500,000 for his spot, but instead of going home with the money, Daly went to a Las Vegas casino and tried his luck at turning $500,000 into $1 million. He didn't. He took out another $600,000 from the line of credit from the casino and lost the whole sum in 2 hours. Daly lost $1.65 million in 5 hours. In other news, first up, Charles Barkley has inside information on a recent NBA trade. They say there are 3 sides to every story: the first guy's side, the second guy's side, and then the truth. In this case, it would be the Knicks side, the Jazz's side, and then the truth. And Charles Barkley claims he knows the full truth of what happened, that the Knicks withdrew from their trade for Donovan Mitchell. The 26-year-old 3-time All-Star will be playing for the Cleveland Cavaliers this season after being traded by the Utah Jazz for an undisclosed amount. Mitchell had played with Utah for over 5 years straight out of college. Many believed that the young player would be traded to the Knicks, who showed eagerness in having him, but the deal never went through. Now, Barkley claims he has inside information on what really happened. According to the athlete-turned-analyst, he had a conversation with Knicks senior executive William Wesley, also known as Worldwide Wes, wherein he revealed that Utah was asking for a serious amount of money. In Wes's own words, they wanted my wife, my kids, my grandkids. Coming up, the dress code you'd have to follow at Daly's golf course. Besides his 2 major wins, John Daly hasn't had much luck on the course. He has, however, won love and approval from fans all over the world with his quirks and his fancy pants. Speaking to Conan O'Brien, Daly revealed that he would impose a strict cover your private parts only dress code at his golf course. Going back in time, in 2005, Daly bought the Lion's Den Golf Course in the state of Arkansas. Originally the Bay Ridge Boat and Golf Club, the club possesses a massive 6,036-yard, 72-par golf course. Daly pointed at O'Brien's tie and claimed that he would have felt suffocated wearing one, saying that ties made him feel like someone had a thumb on his throat. The crowd found Daly's comments thoroughly enjoyable, and so do we. Lastly, Daly thinks the healthcare system is keeping cancer treatments from the public. Years of alcoholism finally got to the professional golfer, and earlier last year, the 56-year-old golfer went under for tumor removal. The professional golfer was reportedly suffering from bladder cancer, but claimed that the surgery had removed all of it. However, he went on to say that his physicians revealed there was still a slight chance of recurrence. That's what set Daly off. The colorful golfer later claimed that the American healthcare system was deliberately keeping the masses from receiving the cure for cancer. He claimed that the system had the cure, but was hell-bent on keeping it from the masses to make more money off of them. Those are some bold claims coming from a man in neon pants. That's all for today's video. Do you think Daly and Barkley have a problem? Let us know in the comments down below. Be sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe for more content. We'll see you here next time. Bye!